were recorded into the treasury, including the very sewage that was impounded, stolen by the cadres. 2 years down the line now, nobody knows the whereabouts of the sewage that was impounded in Kabwe, the sewage that was impounded in Mansa. I have done calculations before. As an example, 14 kgs, or rather tons, of sewage that was impounded in Kabwe could have given us $700 million. This is subject to rebuttals. Now, that is a lot of money. We are building a road from Lusaka into Ndola, costing us $650 million, which could have actually come from the same sewage that has now grown legs in Kabwe. So here I am saying time has come for us to reposition ourselves in as far as how we manage our mineral resources, because depending on the little taxes we are getting from the mining sector is not enough for us to turn around our economic fortune. Remember, we've been haphazard even in the way we've been managing these, mining taxation. Oh, by the way, this message must go to Honorable Msokotwani, because yesterday he wanted to school me. He was suggesting that I need to invest in knowledge. Oh, by the way, I have invested in so much knowledge that Honorable Msokotwani was economic advisor of the late President Mwanawasa at the time when Mwanawasa, working with the late Magande, introduced windfall taxes. The windfall taxes were able to give us enough resources from the copper mining sector. When Honorable Magande became minister under Rupia Banda, he reversed the mining regime from windfall to mineral royalty. And interestingly, he went on to even give back whatever we had gotten from the mining sector using the windfall taxes. So Honorable Msokotwani must know that we have invested so much in knowledge, and we know who the enemies of progress are. Today, Honorable Msokotwani is gifting the mining conglomerates. They are now exporting our minerals in form of concentrates without paying any duty from June into December. I have done my calculations. We are going to lose not less than $5 billion in that single decision, because here is what people must know. The revenues we derive from minerals should not just be accounted for in terms of the taxes. Okay? When you export minerals in form of concentrates, concentrates are a mixture of gold, cobalt, and other minerals, including copper. So what you lose, what we are losing by that single decision of Msokotwani to allow minerals to go in concentrate forms is not just the tax they should have paid, which they've waived away, but also the other minerals that are going out without being properly recorded. And I've made my calculations. We are losing about $5 billion. Compared to a budget of $10 billion, we could have actually gotten half to finance our budget from just a single decision. So here I am saying, I think our mining sector has given us a roadie. We need to reposition, redirect ourselves to how we can then get maximum benefit from our mineral resources. Is it too much to ask? I don't think so. Our friends in the region, our friends in Botswana, went first of all to push government into the diamonds of Botswana. They shared 50-50. Today, the government of Botswana is trying to get hold of the entire mining of diamonds. Our friends in South Africa have gone full-time or went full-time into the mining of gold. Is it too much for Zambia to do, or to ask that we also get involved through government vehicles into the mining of these lucrative minerals, strategic minerals? I don't think it's too much to ask, but what do we expect? UPND will always handle you because you come from the opposite side. No matter how progressive the idea you bring to the table, it will be shot down.
So then possibly should Zambia go in the direction that Namibia has, whereby the Namibian president took over, or rather has taken over, the Ministry of Industry, of Mines and Energy following her dismissal of the ministers? Is that the route we should go?
Look, maybe that is too extreme. But I think what we must be doing now is basically having government to control at least some of these minerals. And look, the argument would be that we've been beaten before when we used to mine ourselves using government entities like ZCCM. But I think that we've learned bitter lessons, we've learned good lessons over the years. We've trained enough engineers. I think we are able to mobilize enough resources for government to be able to do or undertake these mining operations. Besides, what does it take to mine gold? What does it take to mine sugilite? What does it take to mine emerald? Is it complicated an undertaking? No. These are simple undertakings as it is now. Our people are mining gold. Zambia Gold Company, which is a special vehicle which has now been turned into an aggregator, is going to buy gold from our own people who are mining that same gold.
So that's the right direction.
That is the direction we have to go if we are to rise above our challenges. How do you explain the fact that Zambia today is in a state where it is, where the economy is almost in ICU? The problem with Zambia is not that we lack these resources. The problem with Zambia is that we have no leadership. By no leadership, I mean a leadership that will prioritize the interest of the Zambian people, a leadership that will prioritize the interest of the country.
So then actually speaking of leadership, the question has arisen, it is something that you actually brought up in Parliament as well, and it brought more people speaking up saying why is the Speaker of the National Assembly answering the question that you posed, and that is following the Kitwe and Chingola mine disasters where apparently some were not yet rescued, and so now the question is who's supposed to be criminally held responsible for the lives lost?
Well, in countries where people take these things serious, because Zambians, unfortunately, we don't take matters very serious. A government will be held responsible for more or less allowing people to die recklessly as they are dying now. Because look, to give way for a mining operations, the prerequisite is that you must ensure that there are safety regulations. So if mining operations are going on without adherence to mining operations, who should be held accountable? I think government should be held accountable. And so I think that we unfortunately find ourselves in a situation where we have a government that looks the other way around when atrocities are being committed.
But not the mining companies? Shouldn't they be the ones held accountable for that?
Of course they should. They should be held, but government should also, take its responsibility. How is it that government would allow a mining operations to proceed without adherence to mining regulations? Why do we have the safety departments of the Ministry of Mines, if not for them to ensure that before they give a go-ahead to any mining operation, the safety adherence is key? So you see, unfortunately, we would want to place blame, but I want to place blame squarely on government as well as the mining entities.
Okay, and just taking a little bit back, though, to the questions that were raised by people, especially those who were seeing what's happening within Parliament, where they says that it seems that the Speaker of the National Assembly might be skewing more towards the government rather than being a neutral figure. Would you agree with that, especially as you being one of them that does pose motions?
Yeah. First of all, it's in public domain. Back in the days when Parliament was not open in terms of access to TV, it would be my word against their word. Today, because of modernization of Parliament, you are able to follow all the proceedings in Parliament. You are actually able to see the biasness of our speakers towards those who sit on our right. Just yesterday, I was literally abused left, right, center, and the speaker just watched on. Now, interestingly, we the Zambian people are very quick to blame the reactions as opposed to aggressions. There is a member of Parliament from Mongu who is always abusing us with unpalatables. Yesterday, he literally insulted me at some point. I had to ask the speaker, she needed to censure him. Now, this biasness, unfortunately, is so open and is so disgusting to some extent, because look, the role of the speakers is basically the role of a referee. Imagine a referee in a game of football that takes a side. Imagine a supporter like I am a supporter of Arsenal being given to referee a game between Arsenal and Manchester United. How bad that game would be. That, unfortunately, is the situation we find ourselves at Parliament, where the speakers are putting on jerseys. You see them putting on those robes, but if you were to uncover those robes, you'll find that they've got, you know, my uniform, UPND. And shamelessly, they don't hide it. They don't hide it in the way they scored at us for every little mistake. Imagine I was sent out, suspended for 7 days, in brackets, but it went obviously to 2 weeks, for simply looking at my other colleague who was sitting on my left. The speaker is talking to me, reprimanding me for simply asking Bamsokotwani over the commission. Remember, there was an issue we're discussing last, sitting, where government was borrowing, and I was asking the motivation of us continuing to borrow when we can fall back on our resources. And I was there wondering, could it be that they are motivated to borrow because of commissions? It only got too interesting the following day when we were looking at the borrowing plan. I found a 1% handling fee. And then I was saying, guys, is this not what I was talking about yesterday, that could you be motivated by a commission? And here we have a handling fee. A handling fee, in my own words, is a commission. Unfortunately, or interestingly, it's a commission that we don't know who receives, but obviously they want to say it goes to the bank. So the banks are going away with a 1%. Imagine you borrow $1.5 billion. 1% of 1.5 billion is a lot of money, which can be avoided by us going the route of borrowing. Now, when I was challenging this status quo, the speaker, or I was being abused by a member of parliament from Zambezi West, and when I stood up to challenge the abuse by way of a point of order, I was ignored. As I tried to protest, the speaker is, lecturing me. In the process of lecturing me, my colleague sitting here, Honorable Katuta, is trying to signal me something. The moment I looked at Honorable Katuta, the speaker says, you are not even remorseful. I'm talking to you, you are looking at your colleague here. I'm sending you out for 7 days. That is not parliament. That is a comedy of the errors. And I made mention of this to the Deputy Speaker, or Madam Sangano, that there is nowhere on this earth that you can suspend somebody for simply looking, on the other side when you are talking to them. We are not children in that house to be scolded at, to be treated like we're second-class citizens. But unfortunately, that is the status quo in Parliament. This is something that the Zambian people have ignored. And when we complain, we are labeled as the villains. Okay? We are the victims who are termed villains by the public. Yet we stand to speak for the public. Imagine how frustrating it is. We are raising constantly these issues affecting our people, and we are abused at the hands of the UP and the MPs without any reprimand from the speakers. But if we make a mistake, imagine to a point where a member of parliament is sent out for simply laughing. Honorable Chonde of Milenge was sent out for simply laughing. Imagine what sort of a parliament that is. I remember also being scolded at by the speaker for simply laughing. Why are you laughing? And I was like, well, speaker, so unfortunately, that is the situation. This is not a making of Binwell. This is something that even you, the citizens, are able to clearly see.
All right, the phone lines are open. You can come through and be part of the conversation. The numbers are 0955 997 997 or 0979 192485 or 0969 690 487. You can also go through to our social media platform, which is Power FM Zambia, and be part of the conversation. All right. And one of the biggest conversation, of course, we can say the elephant in the room that needs to be addressed, of course, is Bill 7, which is being talked about. And the NGOCC has boycotted the technical committee on the constitutional reforms, refusing to make submissions. Lars has said they are not interested anymore because they were not informed of the technical committee that was going to be appointed. So how do we ensure that the committee is fully independent of political manipulation or the influence of the executive?
It is very sad, I must stress, that the UPND continues to be so deceptive in the way they are governing this country. So citizens, Munia Zulu and others, took this matter to the Constitutional Court for determination.
That's
Celestine,
yes.
yeah, took the matter for determination as to whether the process of amending the Constitution was constitutional. And the Constitutional Court rules that it was not constitutional. At that point, the Constitutional Court rendered that process null and void. It means the bill that was before the Parliament must have been withdrawn. What does the UPND do? They simply deferred it. When you defer a bill, it does not mean you have removed it from Parliament. It is simply sitting on your shelf. That is deceptive. That is deception of the highest order. Now, the president decides to appoint a technical committee. Technical committee means people who are competently qualified to handle constitutional matters. When you look at the group of those who have been put together, are they competent? Maybe one or two. But anyway, that's a subject for another day. The key for a technical committee is the terms of reference you give them, the mandate under which they should operate. If you look at the terms of reference they've given to that technical committee, they've basically guided them to say, go and ask the people for their input on, number one, delimitation, number two, on the inclusion of youth and women, number three, exactly what was in the Bill 7 are the terms of reference they've given to that technical committee. So what the UPND have done is to hoodwink the Zambians to believe they're now following the procedure by constituting this bogus technical committee, which is not competently qualified, to now also give it specific mandate to go and legitimize the Bill 7. What that group is doing, that bogus group that is going, spending taxpayers' money, going around the country, is to go and dress up Bill 7, legitimize Bill 7. Whatever submissions are going to come from the people will be nothing short of what we already had before the House. Is this the leadership the Zambian people want? Now, the Zambian people are not foolish. The Zambian people have been through these things before. That is why important stakeholders today are working out. If you are a leader and you see important stakeholders in national engagement deciding to stay back, it should raise some flags. The NGOCC is a mother body representing women affairs in this country. If the NGOCC decides to step back from an important process, you have a problem.
Sorry to cut you off short, Honorable. We do have a caller on the line. Hello, it's you to the Power Breakfast.
Good morning, ma'am. How are you?
We're doing well, thank you. How are you doing yourself?
I'm okay.
Speaking to?
You are speaking to Mr. Kapiri, calling you from Gembe Central, Zambia.
All right, Mr. Kapiri, go ahead with the comment or question.
Good morning, Honorable.
Morning, Bakapiri. How are you?
I'm fine.
Thank you.
I am the Honorable. Yeah, maybe I would be one is a war or debate against Mpundu. Koma fusa mele nga kufuseni. Nyaguti which article ya many information from president kusanka ma commissioners. Ya many muita na say focus. If not the same article which other presidents use. Because there was a before he died, I think he had almost 4. They had to appoint 4 commissioners, board of commissioners. Which law was he using? Number 2, you are saying these people are not qualified. Are they South Africans or Zambians? If you yourself, you are able to deliberate, what about those people who have been appointed? Are they not Zambians? They are not able to deliberate? Huh? I think Honorable at times we don't see everything bad. In Parliament, you have put elders. That is when he has never been sent out of Parliament. What is it that my youth when you every time? We know that Munja Munyumba Yamarambo is the House of Honorables. House of Honorables, and their etiquette and the rules guiding you. Why don't you want to be guided? You want to behave as if you are 21? No, Honorable, let us be serious at times.
All right. We'll have to cut you so that we'll accommodate more callers. Thank you very much for coming, sir. All right.
Very interesting.
Maybe before you reply to his question, maybe we can accommodate one more caller so that you answer them all together. The numbers are 0969 690 487 or 0955 997 997. Hello, good morning. See to the Power Breakfast. Hello, it's to the Power Breakfast. Good morning.
Good morning, madam. How are you?
Who are we speaking to?
You are speaking to Honorable Mkosa.
Honorable Mkosa, go ahead with a comment or question.
I want to contribute, but I'll end up with a question.
Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, good morning, my fellow Honorable.
Morning, Honorable Mkosa.
Yes, you are speaking very well. Looking at what you are trying to achieve, really, you need to dream, and to dreaming is free. But I want to remind you that in a democracy like ours, there is nothing that will be proposed, even by you, the opposition, or neither the government, that will be agreed 100%. And when you say, organizations like NGOCC pulls out, then you have a problem. You are right. Because NGOCC is just a bunch of few individuals among the Zambian people. Okay? So, as long as you people, you are not telling us what is wrong in those clauses, all what you are talking about is about timely. The timing is wrong. No, the committee is what? We are not going to agree with you. Because in the first place, you were crying about wider consultation. The president heard you. He had to hold the process to allow you people to submit through the wider consultation that you are crying for. The wider consultation has come. The same NGOCC who are crying for that wider consultation, they are saying no, we are not going to be part and parcel. Meaning they are just doing my politics. They are just entertaining their funders. Okay? So for us, we know that in a democracy, there is nothing that will be agreed 100% by everybody. All what is needed to be done by the people that are in the driving seat is to do what is beneficial to the country.
All right, Mr. Mkosa, please answer
like this, madam.
Ask your question, so that we wrap up with time.
This issue of saying we want to bring in young people to read, it won't work. A country to develop, it needs everybody.
Honorable, I'm sorry, please ask your question so that we end up with time.
My question is, why are you against Bill 7, which gives young people constitutionally protected, or which it promotes protected by the constitution by putting a clause that empowers young people to be part and parcel of the governance system of this country. If really your goal is, or your ambition is to bring young people, or to make young people the leaders of this nation.
Okay.
This is my question.
Thank you so much, Honorable.
React to their comments and questions.
Very interesting questions. Wakapiri says, what law is the president using to appoint the commissioners? Obviously, the Inquiries Act is what gives him the power to put together a technical committee. It is the law that every other president has relied on to put together a technical committee. This is what people were suggesting from the word go, that you cannot start, a constitutional amendment by simply making proposals from your bedrooms or from your offices. You needed to, originate these proposals from the people. Now, the question around the technical committee is about the competence of the people who have been put in that committee in terms of, constitutional reforms or constitutional matters. Now, that is why I said we'll leave that to another day. It's not the most important. What is important is what are they being given to undertake? The terms of reference is what matters in this. What are the terms of reference that has been given to this technical committee? If you look at the terms of reference, and I'll challenge Bakapiri, I'll challenge Bamukosa. When you look at these terms of reference, they're basically being asked, go to the people and inquire them or interrogate them or ask them to make submissions around A, B, C, and D. That does not in any way suggest that you are going to the people to ask them to make proposition of what must be included or excluded from the Constitution. That is you basically dictating how you would want things. Ultimately, that is why they keep on referring to Bill 7. Bamukosa is asking me, why are you against Bill 7? What is Bill 7? Bill 7 is the little bill they put together with propositions that they had put together from their own bedrooms. If the Constitutional Court has ruled that is unconstitutional, why are we still talking about Bill 7? So if Bamukosa is asking me, why am I against Bill 7? Bill 7 is unconstitutional.
He's asking which specific clauses are you not okay with? I
am not okay with every other clauses because this is illegal, an undertaking. It was ruled illegal by the Constitutional Court. But I can, for the comfort of Honorable Mukosa, I can set out a few. Mm-hmm. A country that is distressed economically, you want to create 90 more seats? You want to create all those cost centers? Because delimitation does not necessarily entail create more constituencies. Delimitation could mean let's reshape the boundaries. As an example, in Kitwe, I have a fairly smaller constituents. You can reshape my constituents to cut into the other bigger constituents, and we'll create something similar to what you need. It does not mean let's create more MPs that are going to now gobble more resources, which resources you do not have. I think that a country now needs to harness every little resource towards spending in social sectors, towards spending, towards the well-being of our people. Our people today are dying because they cannot access, health care. The NEMA facility is completely dead, and conveniently so, because we know some people are trying to create an arrangement where it can be given to private control. Okay. So these are things that we must be saving our resources towards.
Okay, let's accommodate some callers on the line. The numbers are 0969-690487 or 0955-997-997. Hello, see to the Power Breakfast. Good morning.
Morning, madam. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you doing yourself?
Fine, good morning, Honorable Mpundu.
Morning.
This is Dixon Warrior calling from Kitwe. Yes. In Ghana constituency.
Dixon.
Go ahead with a comment or question.
You want to contribute. Honorable Mpundu. Hello?
Yes, we can hear you.
We can get you. Go ahead with a comment or question.
Yes, Honorable Mpundu.
You can get you. Go ahead, please. We seem to have lost him, unfortunately. Network is giving us some problems, but you can call us up on the other lines. That's either on 0961-690-487 or on 0979-192-485. You can also send in your messages as well via text message on those two numbers. But if you'd like a direct call, that's on 0955-997-997. Hello, you're through to Voice of the People. Who are we speaking to?
Yes, Lukulu Voice on the line.
Go ahead, Lukulu Voice. What's your comment or question?
Thank you very much. How are you, Honorable Mpundu?
I'm okay, Balukulu. How are you?
I'm very fine.
Thank you.
You are 43 years.
Yes.
When the UPND was in opposition, you were 39 years. So meaning you were above youth. In Zambia, youth is regarded as from 18 to 35. You are advocating for Ichabaiche. If you were genuinely a person who was Ichabaiche when the PF, the party that support, were in government at that time, you could have stood when they were abusing our freedoms of speech, of assembly, when there were violence in the market, wherever, we did not hear your voice. What went wrong in your mind? You were comfortable with that. When your party itself, the economy was down -2, but you had the audacity to increase from 150 constituencies to 156, where there's no money, isn't it? The reason is very simple, as you paint it, because they understand that democracy is very expensive, isn't it? So, where is your argument today? You are saying Bill 7 is not necessary, you don't support it because they cannot increase the members of parliament to 91, according to what you say. Where is your argument? Has it got merit? In that constitution that you amended in 2016, you were there. You know what you did? You had to put in a clause there to say, after 10 years, there will be delimitation. Why did you put it in there? And the 10 years is now. We are getting 2026, so this is the right time. You wanted the UPN to abrogate the constitution just because there's no money? This democracy is expensive. You understand? So if you feel that the democracy is expensive, there is no money to bring in to delimitate, let us cancel our election of 2026 where there's no money. It's too much money. So that you can do it when you recover economically. Are you going to agree? So some of these arguments that you bring, Mpundu, you are even despising your house, parliament, the behavior that you have been portraying there is not necessary. It's not showing good example to the young people in Zambia. That behavior that you always exhibit. You are even accusing the speaker, Nelly Mut and what? All the government from MMD, from UNIP. You remember at MMD that...
sorry, we kindly ask if you can summarize what you're saying
okay.
To accommodate more callers.
Yeah, in summary, in that parliament, there are rules that you follow. Okay? So when you misbehave yourself, don't blame the speaker. Look at your behavior and conduct and lead by example. You lose nothing. If there's something wrong, there's also legal way, channels that you can also air your grievance. Don't just come on platform and despise your house. That's very bad. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much for coming through.
We also do have a comment here, a question rather. The question is, Mr. Binwell, after some sentiments that went round on social media, others took you as a self-appraised leader who undermines others. What's your regard do you have for the country, and do you feel any remorse of the words that you uttered at any point?
First of all, the Honorable Mukosa, just in responding to him, says the NGO CC is just a bunch of few individuals. Now, Honorable, I would want to, advise you, don't refer to our mothers as just a bunch of individuals. You are trying to amend the Constitution to include women. The women you want to include are saying, we are staying away because this doesn't look like a... How can you be comfortable that the very people you want to give a chance to be part of the process of governance sees something wrong with the process you are taking? Shouldn't that be a call for concern? The Law Association of Zambia is staying away because they feel how you are handling this matter is not right. Should you not be concerned? Caritas, which represents a faith-based organization, is staying away. The chiefs in Eastern Province are saying we need to consult our people. I think that if we are rightfully placed, we are right in our minds, in our thinking, and we care for this country that much, Bamkosa, we need to take a back seat and say something is wrong, because there cannot be all these groupings staying away. Bamkosa says it will not work to have people, young people lead. Unfortunately, Bamkosa, you are not God, and God doesn't live at your place. The young people have resolved that you are not going to continue using them as pawns in the games of politics. I was treated the same in my former political party, where people kept on thinking I was young and not important, and I decided to go independent. And so
what political party it was?
That was PF. I was part of PF. I'm one of those who really fought and built PF alongside my friends like Munia, JJ. When the party treated us the way Bamukosha is saying young people don't deserve a chance, we decided to chart our own path. Today, we are in parliament on our own. What we're now trying to say is young people deserve also recognition, and that's why we have created this platform. So it's not up to you, Honorable Mukosa, to decide the fate of young people, whether they are going to have a chance at leadership or not. Balukulu, you are saying, if I was a youth, why didn't I stand up against some of the atrocities that were committed by PF? You need to read my story. I was proudly a district commissioner of the second biggest city of the country, Kitwe. And under my reign, I fought the most ugliest of violence in the city under the hands of gangs. We had gangs in Kitwe when I was in charge, and I can proudly hold my head up that I fought that vice. I fought any manner of violence in Kitwe during my time. So, Balukulu, you need to take a little dive at history and learn of what I did when I was district commissioner of Kitwe, and I'm very proud. As to what PF did, the PF is still around. You can hold them accountable. In any case, the reason why the Zambian people decided to change government from the PF is they believed the PF were headed in the wrong direction. We are now with the UPND, and we have every duty now to hold the UPND accountable. We are going to hold them accountable for their lies. They lied that they are going to handle the electricity situation. In fact, President HH said Dubai does not have rains. How come they are constantly supplied with power? Over 2 years now, President HH and team have failed to resolve the electricity challenges.
Sorry to cut you off short, Mr. Binwell. So, they do say, the current regime says they paid off debt.
Which debt have they paid?
That's for ZESCO, over $1.4 billion US dollars. Well, and of course, they are commissioning power plants to sort out the power issue. Isn't that something, a reform to make sure that the power issue is sorted out?
Tell me how many power plants are being commissioned and what the addition is to the grid, and how much that addition is doing to cushion the situation. Because where you live, by the way, I just live up north here in Jesmondine. We've not had power for the last 2 days. If I had not a solar, so if people can proudly sit and say, we are resolving this problem, we are commissioning power plant, how is it that today, as opposed to even having 3 hours of power, we are going for 2 days without power? And that is a story in any place. You would be too lucky to have 3 hours. Most houses, most communities are having only one hour of power. Now, our duty is not to go and massage by UPND and praise them for doing nothing. Our duty is to hold them accountable for the promises they voluntarily made. Ba president that bakashisha presidential jet tabashitisha. Amalaiti yakaba resolved within shanu tabachita. So if twikale fetureta mbabala ndatu bunga bukabwera pali 50 kwacha. Fertilizer ikabura pali 250 kwacha. Bene balela ya ukwabula omuntu uli onso kubepushati la yeni. So if we remind them of those things, are we enemies? Certainly not. Balukulu plus the other message that came at Binwell, your sentiments in Parliament, your behavior. Look, I will be very quick to take responsibility for my shortcomings. I wish that everybody should be able to take responsibility for their shortcomings. I have called some of the MP Ichimutwe because they behaved unreasonable and they went scot-free.
I think that was appropriate.
Yes. If you behave like a toddler, like somebody without senses. What should we do? Praise you or tuise tumichite hagi yawe mayo? If we go to afuma, nga wachita behave like a lunatic, is to call you a lunatic. Because in that parliament, you don't go there and take a mano ya mfiani. You go there and behave honorably if you want other people to behave towards you honorably. And I can tell you, Ichimutwe will never be an insult. Contrary to what the UPND said, Binwala Tukana, Ichimutwe will never be an insult. Udimukulu sana will never be an insult. Yateke panshi will never be an insult. Oh, by the way, Yateke panshi is a Bemba expression which says, relax. Relax. It will never be an insult no matter. But what necessitates these reactions? What necessitates these reactions is the provocations. Just yesterday, a member of parliament was telling me, this is nonsensical. How can we even entertain? This is nauseating. I can even vomit at this nonsense you are bringing. Surely. However, so I think society must be fair. If you want respect, you must first of all accord respect to others. He who comes to equity, the law holds, must come with clean hands. You must be able to show respect to others if you want them to show respect. So, by voice, by Lukulu voice, if you want that house to uphold decorum, it must be from both ends. The speaker must be impartial to ensure that whoever misbehaves, whether from the right or left, is reprimanded. You can't keep on reprimanding those from the left and you leave those who are aggressing against the others. I hold no apologies for calling you Muntu Chimutwe if they behave like toddlers. I hold no apologies. Okay.
We do have a message actually, and it says, hello honorable, go ahead, you are a future president. As farmers we are in trouble. And then he further touches on, please help us, as we will, please help us, we'll not sell the maize again to FRA. Still we'll remember you. Praise singers can't help us. And that is from Kasenengwa. And actually just moving on to our topic on food insecurity and farmer payments. You did kind of, or at least from how you phrased your motion when you brought it up in Parliament, it made it seem like Zambia is on the cusp of food insecurity crisis. Are we or are we not?
Look, I remarked yesterday when I was presenting an urgent matter that the source of most troubles in the region around the world is food insecurity. Mm-hmm. When you don't handle your food very well, it will bring instability because everyone wants to eat. And when you deprive them of food, they can cause havoc. We have a situation in the country, under the UPND, first of all, they made an infamous decision when they got in to sell all the maize they found in their sheds. And what did we have? We had a disaster. Today, the UPND, with only one good rain season and one good harvest, they decide to start selling all the maize outside the country without even taking time to see whether we are going to have a favorable rain season this year or otherwise.
But where are they going to keep that maize?
That is why government needs to invest in facilities that would store this maize. Keep that maize until you see how the rain is going to perform. Now, you are selling your maize, you are failing to pay the farmers, who should now go into producing maize for the next consumption. The farmers are complaining throughout the country. I raised that matter yesterday, and I'm glad the Speaker heard the cry and has ordered that the ministerial statement be given. The rains have already set. The farmers have started tilling their land. How are the farmers going to afford to buy what is needed for their farming if you as government have not paid the farmers? The same is happening, and I was in Eastern Province. This government doesn't care for cotton farmers. This government doesn't, care for tobacco farmers. They are showing no care towards maize farmers. So when they professed they are farmers, they are going to handle the farming, ministry or the agriculture ministry better. Where is their priority? Is it only on the beef that they have now started exporting to Congo? Because clearly, They are not taking care of the maize farmers, taking care of the cotton farmers. The tobacco farmers are stranded in the eastern province. So who are they prioritizing?
So briefly, let's talk about the practical solutions. What do you think needs to be done?
The practical solutions, number one, is farming must be a business. This country has got the capacity to export. What we need, let's invest more. There are many people today who wants to get on board and supported by government. We need to increase the support to our farmers by increasing the number of beneficiaries. When we increase the number of beneficiaries of our maize farmers, we must also increase what we give to them. Currently, whatever is being given to the farmers, they have to share in medas. Interestingly, mwapela farmers limited resources in terms of inputs. You are forcing them to share because they want everyone to have a share. And then you insist that for us to buy from you, first you must bring 10 bags. Meanwhile, you expect people to produce over 10 bags, but fertilizer. So if the practical solutions is let's find more money to invest in the agriculture sector. Where can we find that money? Is from what I was proposing yesterday. Let's begin to get more shares, more revenues from the mining sector, which revenues can be pumped into the agriculture sector. The agriculture sector can produce more food for local consumption, and we can produce more food for the market outside. We need to also prioritize other sectors of the agriculture. Cotton farmers, as an example, you are proudly talking about opening Mulungushi textile. The textile you are opening, where is the cotton going to come from? Or maybe you have changed the model. Mukalash Tensaru from China to come and work on at Mulungushi. The original intention of Mulungushi was we get our cotton, take them into those processing, and then we use that to run Mulungushi or to be used at Mulungushi. You've killed the cotton industry. You've killed the tobacco industry. You've killed the maize industry. You've killed the soya beans industry. What sort of a government are you, and what sort of farming or rather agricultural policies are you implementing? Is it only for animals? Just because you have found a lucrative market and you're just prioritizing on Ingombe? No, colleagues, we can do better.
Unfortunately, time is not on our end. We have to cut the interview short. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, Honorable.
Guys, the time is too short.
It is.
Thank you very much.
I think we need to reschedule for another time.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much once again. We were joined in the studio by Nkana MP, and that is Honorable Binwell Mpundu right here on Voice of the People, and the Power Breakfast continues.
The views expressed on this program are not the views of Power FM or the presenter.
Voice of the People, Monday to Friday from 8:45 to 8:30 a.m. Great morning conversations start here.
It's time to register. The Electoral Commission of Zambia will be conducting mass voter registration across the country from the 13th of October to the 11th of November 2025. If you are 18 years and above, a Zambian citizen and in possession of a Green National Registration Card, NRC, you qualify to register. If you registered in 2020 or during continuous registration of voters and you still have your voter's card, you don't need to register again. During this registration period, ECZ will be providing the following services: new registrations, replacement of lost, destroyed or defaced voters' cards, transfers from one polling station to another, claims for omission on the register of voters, corrections of clerical errors, and removal of deceased voters. Registration centers will be open throughout the week from 8 hours to 17 hours. Register now. It's your right. It's your choice. This message is brought to you by the Electoral Commission of Zambia.